So, welcome to Monday Motivation. It's great to be here today. Today, I want to introduce myself. I am Terri Sterk. I'm excited to have you with me today. If we haven't met previously, I am a two-time survivor of triple negative breast cancer. I now serve women who have dealt with trauma, including breast cancer. Today, I will share some good news that overcoming overthinking to find peace is possible. I have been there, and that's why I know this. Have you ever found yourself stuck in a loop of what ifs or what didn't? Why didn't I? All of these comments create a replaying conversation over and over in our heads, analyzing every word that we say, everything that we've thought of, or worrying endlessly about decisions that you need to make. Overthinking is something many of us struggle with. I know I sure do. It can feel like a storm raging in your mind, leaving you exhausted and paralyzed, stuck right where you are, not making progress. But here's the good news. Peace is possible even when your mind feels chaotic. Today we're going to talk about overcoming overthinking and finding the calm that we all crave and deserve. First, let's explore why we overthink. At its core, overthinking often comes from fear. Fear of failure, fear of making the wrong decision, fear of the unknown, fear of the future. This was me for sure. I had healing issues during my reconstruction surgery. My mind was on overdrive, trying to understand how I was going to get through this and what if it didn't work. One more surgery to try to correct the problem. And then the next week, another surgery. It just seemed like the problem could never be solved. It's our mind's way of trying to control a situation. I couldn't control what was happening to my body, so the overthinking kicked in. But the problem is, overthinking doesn't solve any problems. It just creates more anxiety. Think about it. How many times has replaying a mistake or a decision in your mind helped solve the problem or make it any better? It never does. Or how often has imagining a worst case scenario actually prepared you for the future? Overthinking has real costs. It can exhaust you mentally and emotionally, leaving you feel stuck and unable to make an impact or move forward. It also affects your emotions, like fueling self-doubt and anxiety. And it can even hold you back from opportunities because you're so afraid of making the wrong decision that you don't make any choice at all. But recognizing these patterns is the first step to breaking free of overthinking. Just recognize that it's happening. Then after that, the next step is to reframe your thoughts. Overthinking thrives on focusing on the past, mistakes you've made, or it focuses on the future. It worries about what could go wrong or what's coming next around the corner. But peace comes from grounding yourself in the present. Instead of asking, what if about the past, or what's next about the future, If you shift your perspective to today, what's happening at this moment, that can help shut your mind down and allow you to focus on solutions rather than fears. For example, instead of obsessing over a decision that you have to make, like I did, you can think, what can I learn from this? Another key to overcoming overthinking is taking action. Even if it's a small action, just doing something to help move forward can help the overthinking. Because overthinking loves inaction. It feeds on indecision and fear. But when you take even a small step forward, you interrupt that cycle. For example, if you're stuck on a decision, give yourself time, a time limit. Decide what you'll spend 10 minutes researching options, maybe. Or you'll spend 10 minutes talking to a friend who's been through the same thing. Then you can commit to making a choice. But just taking the 10 minutes can stop your mind. It can stop your mind from swirling. Remember, progress, not perfection, is the goal. So taking those small steps can definitely help shut down your mind. Mindfulness is something I talk about all the time because it's the secret to so many of these emotional struggles that we have. But mindfulness is a powerful tool to shut down an overactive mind. Overthinking often pulls us into the past or the future, but mindfulness brings us back to the present. A simple technique, and one I've talked about before, is the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. It works like this. You use your five senses. So look for five things you can see around you. Then notice four things you can feel: the texture of your clothes or the chair you're sitting in. Then listen for three things that you can hear, like the clock ticking or air coming through the vents to keep us warm, or a bird chirping outside. Focus on two things that you can smell, like your coffee or the fresh air. Finally, identify one thing you can taste. Maybe it's a sip of water or a mint or gum. This technique anchors you in the moment and interrupts any overthinking spiral. It's important to focus on what you can control. Overthinking often happens when we try to control the uncontrollable, like other people's opinions or outcomes that we can't predict. Instead, shift your energy to areas where you have influence. Make a list of what's within your power to change, and then release the rest. Just the act of writing and trying to control what your mind is doing is going to help your overthinking. Building supportive habits can also keep overthinking at bay. Simple practices like journaling can help keep your mind clear of clutter. Writing down your thoughts allows you to see them clearly and often reveals solutions that you hadn't thought of. Practicing gratitude is another powerful tool. This will be the third week in a row I've talked about gratitude. But living a gracious life is going to help your mind stay away from overthinking. Because it helps combat negative thinking. So don't forget about physical activity. A walk around the block or just some exercise, even if it's a small thing, isn't just good for your body. It's a proven stress reliever for your mind. Lastly, don't underestimate the power of community. Sometimes when we're stuck in our own heads, it helps to talk things out with someone we trust. I'm a good listener. I'll be happy to talk you through whatever it is you're dealing with. Sharing your worries with a friend, mentor, or a counselor can give you a fresh perspective and remind you that you're not alone. Overcoming overthinking doesn't happen overnight. It takes some practice. It's a process that requires intentional steps. Recognizing that repeat that's going over and over in your head is the first step. But every time you interrupt that spiraling thought or take a small step forward, you're building a healthier pattern for your mind. Peace isn't found in figuring out the perfect solution. It's found in letting go and trusting the process. So, what's one small step you can take today to quiet your mind? If you have a big decision you need to make or you're worried about something, what's something you could do today just to ease that pain, that worry? Maybe it's practicing mindfulness or talking to a friend or journaling your thoughts. Whatever it is, start there. Peace is definitely possible, and it starts with the choice to take one step forward. So do that today. Thank you for your time. I'd love to hear your thoughts or answer any questions you have. What resonated with you most about this talk? I am cheering you on. Have a great day.